guys. We're ready to get started. So I'd like to try to keep it down as low as possible. It's one of the reasons why we're serving you lunch while we're doing the press conference. So you're chewing while we're talking. I want to welcome you all here to the July 9th press conference. We have the final press conference leading into this Saturday's main event, HBO boxing, with Paul Williams against Erislandy Lara. In the co-feature, we've got the champion, WBA Super Bantamweight World Champion, defending his title, Akifumi Shimoda, the world champion from Japan, challenging the #1 WBA contender in the world, Rico Ramos. In addition, we've got Chris Arreola, who is doing things that haven't been done for many, many years, and especially in the heavyweight division, especially at this level of boxing, having his 4th fight in a 7-week period. Chris Arreola against Friday Akifumi, who we all know is a very grizzled, tough veteran heavyweight.
Hey man, hey.
Hey buddy.
In addition, and he's not here right now, I know he's on his way to New York, we're going to have a WBC junior super featherweight, or actually it's a featherweight championship with Johnny Gonzalez, who just acquired his 2nd world championship, at least the 2nd world championship in a different division. He was 2-time junior featherweight world champion, first time super featherweight world featherweight world champion, and he's fighting Tomas Villa from Texas. I want to thank our sponsors, Corona, been a great sponsor for all of boxing, and it's very much appreciated, and it's why I try to have as many Coronas as I can during the week. My wife doesn't agree with that thinking, though. In addition, Azad Watches, you've seen them off and on throughout the years, sponsoring certain boxing events. They're very much a Paul Williams fan, and they came back and put their name to the sponsor sheet. In addition, I want to thank the New Jersey State Athletic Commission, Aaron Davis, great commissioner. He's done a tremendous job out in New Jersey, and we're looking forward to having him regulate this great event Saturday night. Now, what I'd like to do is introduce a young man, and I keep on saying he's a young man throughout all the years I've known him, because no matter how many years we're together, he will always be a young man to me. He's the Senior VP over at HBO Sports, Kery. Bigger applause for Kery.
I should get that for surviving that rainstorm in Germany. Antonio Margarito, Carlos Quintana twice, Winky Wright, Sergio Martinez twice, Kermit Cintron, and a failed fight against Kelly Pavlik, which didn't happen because of him, but it's one he signed up for. When you think about that list of names, no one has faced a better caliber of competition live on HBO in the last few years than Paul Williams. Suffice to say, Paul Williams is indeed a warrior. And I haven't spoken to him since the loss to Sergio Martinez in his last fight. I've only spoken briefly. But I guarantee you that the warrior to my left, if given his druthers, would rather be sitting here for a 3rd fight against Sergio Martinez, because that's the kind of man, and that's the kind of warrior, and that's the kind of fighter that he is. And that's why we like having Paul Williams fight on HBO, for that single trait alone. Now, he also has terrific boxing skills. And those skills are such that even on a fight where many people would be looking to do an easy comeback fight, He's coming back against a guy who's a former amateur champion, undefeated professional, supremely skilled, 320 amateur fights, former Cuban national champion, captain of the team, favored to win the gold medal in 2008 before his defection to America. In effect, this is no comeback fight. And this says everything you need to know about Paul Williams. We're looking forward to a terrific matchup on Saturday night, right, between Williams and Lara. And again, it's not a comeback fight. It's a fight we're very proud of. On the undercard, we'll feature two guys making their first appearance on HBO. The champion Shimoda is a world-class fighter, and Rico Ramos will have an opportunity against a world-class fighter to really make a name for himself in America. So sometimes fights like this are not just about winning, but it's also about how you win, and it's about making an impression with the fans. And both Shimoda and Ramos will have that opportunity in a division that has a number of good fights down the line. And then finally, the guy to my right, I guess I've never hidden my personal affection for this man. And I'm really glad for him that he's doing the types of things that he's been doing in order to make himself a big factor in the heavyweight division again. I applaud him for his efforts in losing the weight, both from a competitive standpoint and a health standpoint. And we're looking forward to having him back on HBO for Saturday night. We will just be showing highlights of his fight since it was added at the relative last minute. But we look forward to having Chris on HBO in the future, right? And he is certainly someone that the heavyweight division could certainly use. So our start time Saturday night will be 10:15 Eastern and 10:15 Pacific. Again, tune in for a great show, and congratulations to all of the fighters for stepping up to the challenges that they have. And again, I want to thank Dan Goossen and his staff for putting this card together, along with Al Heyman and his staff for again putting together such competitive fights. Thanks again.
Two things, Kery. One is I might as well rip up my notes now. You said everything I wanted to say about Williams and Lara. That was it. And two is you said something that I think every boxing fan, every media member, every network, and quite frankly, the fighters that sit at home watching these fights, that they see broadcast on any medium. And that is, it's not only about getting on TV, but it's about how you win. And I was sitting back Saturday night, and I love our sport. And I want to see our sport succeed. And I want to see every damn fight that's at the major level, especially at the major level, to bring the excitement that, quite frankly, the up-and-coming fighters bring to the ring. And too many times we've been disappointed. And those thoughts were even more evident when I started thinking about this card here Saturday night. Someone asked me earlier about what type of fight is Paul Williams and Lara going to be. Two left-handers, which usually I guess equates into something that's less than scintillating. And I said one simple thing: Paul Williams comes to fight. There's no way it's ever anything other than excitement in that ring when Paul's in that ring. And that's what HBO and Ross and Kery have been talking about, and what he just referenced here. Because Paul likes to go out there and show how you win. Arreola, same damn thing. I mean, you say whatever you want, saying that it took him a while to get his weight together and rise to the level of elite athlete. He always gave you excitement. He always went out there and gave it everything he had, as much as he can talk, but mostly from a very entertaining aspect of it. you knew he was going to go out there and try to knock out his opponent. And with Shimoda and Ramos, Kery hit the nail on the head. It's their shot to go out there and say, not only am I going to win tonight, but I want to be back on HBO. And I've got to go out there and fight. We get all of our fighters emulating that type of attitude. Nothing will ever compare to a great boxing match. And I applaud our fighters that we have here on the dais right now speaking that role. You all come to fight, and we appreciate it as promoters who don't walk in between those ropes, and you accomplishing what you do. You know who you are. So bring me up, and I'm going to apologize to Chris's challenger Friday, Akifumi, who I've known for many years, but I did not know he was going to be here at this press conference. Otherwise, we'd have tried to make room for him. But he is back at one of the tables in the back. He's here with his manager, Louis Tapia, a fixture in the boxing business for many, many years. And obviously, I want you to give him his chance to be interviewed and discuss about his chance with Chris Arreola. So Friday, you are going to have your opportunity to speak to the press immediately afterwards. I appreciate you coming out, which brings me to Chris Arreola. You know, I mentioned a little while ago that it's his fourth fight in 7 weeks, which, as you know, only the great heavyweights of years gone by ever dared to chew off that many fights in a short period of time. But, you know, in today's world, and I've talked a lot about it with Chris's manager, Al Heyman, and that is that in today's world, to wait around for 1 or 2 fights, I think is a detriment to a fighter's career. And to what Chris is doing right now, I think is a new pathway for a lot of elite fighters that realize that it's much better to be in that gym, and while you're in that gym, rather than just staying there for months on end, waiting for that fight every 6 months, you stay busy with other fights. And in this case, that's what Chris has come to the conclusion of. And obviously, we couldn't schedule these type of fights for him without him saying that he wants to do it. He's here with his trainer, Henry Ramirez, who is bodyguarding my wife right now in the back, thank goodness, which happens to be our anniversary also on July 9th, so I appreciate you being here for that. 3 weeks and counting. So I appreciate it. Thank you. No, that's real joke. It's been 17 years. Anyway, what I want to do is have Chris Arreola say a few words. Chris the Nightmare Arreola.